Reiko is another character who is anticipated to appear in the next Mortal Kombat game, Mortal Kombat 12, at least according to recent leaks. He is a character who is very loyal to his master and is incredibly powerful at the same time. His power has always been adequate to battle with the strongest Mortal Kombat characters, even if he hasn't always had especially interesting skills like Kung Lao's Sawblade helmet or Sub-Zero and Scorpion's control over the elements. He is an extremely challenging foe to beat because of his massive weapon, the crude hammer. Today, at Marvelous Videos, we take a deeper look into the character's backstory. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means an awful lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
I am Reiko, General of Shao Kahn's army. What is it you wish to tell me?
History. In Mortal Kombat 4, Reiko debuted. He is a gloomy and serious man, but also violent. He shares some characteristics with Shao Kahn, including his desire to conquer the outside world. Originally, the game's roster had Noob Saibot in place of Reiko, since it was considered that the series had too many ninja characters already, and that Noob Saibot camouflaged too well with the background for the players to see the character properly. He was replaced in the roster with Reiko. The outfit of Reiko resembled that of Noob Saibot. Only the head and the colors were changed, with spikes being added to the forearms and an emblem of the Brotherhood of Shadow being added to the character. As a result, the character model of Noob Saibot, a hidden character in the MK4 home editions, is strikingly similar to that of Reiko. During MK4's release, Reiko was affiliated with Kia and Serena. The events of MK4 mostly followed the events of Mortal Kombat mythologies, Sub-Zero. In the earlier videos of Reiko, he was shown to be using the giant sword called the Devastator, but later videos showed him wielding the crude hammer, which is similar to Shao Kahn's Wrath Hammer. However, another video was released where it showed him wielding the Devastator again, so questions came up regarding which one was correct. Finally, with the release of the game, Reiko was shown wielding the crude hammer, and the Devastator was given to Fujin. Reiko appeared similar to Shang Tsung in MK3 in his first appearance. He has gray or white hair at his temples, creases around his eyes and forehead, and he appears to be a little older. His appearance is severe and weathered. Reiko resembled another member of the MK crew facially, in this case, Ed Boon, just as many other characters that made their debut in MK4. The Brotherhood of Shadow logo was printed in yellow on the back of his maroon shimmering conventional ninja uniform, which was missing the customary mask. Except for the Brotherhood of Shadow symbol, this outfit served as his alternate costume in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. When he reappeared in Armageddon, he was made in a way that was strikingly similar to that of Shao Kahn. Reiko, however, wears black slacks underneath his armor and has a somewhat tanned complexion in contrast to Shao Kahn. Other than his primary occupation, not much is known about Reiko in the original timeline. He has been the servant of both Shao Kahn and Shinnok, and also of the Brotherhood of Shadow. He was thought to have perished during Shinnok's first war with the Elder Gods, which took place some 10,000 years ago. He later held the position of general for Shao Kahn's army and participated in several conflicts throughout many centuries to further Shao Kahn's empire. He reconnected with Shinnok during Mortal Kombat 4, though it is unknown if Shao Kahn approved because Shao Kahn had just been beaten by Liu Kang and was recovering. He first appeared in Shao Kahn's army after Shinnok was vanquished, where he has remained up until this point. According to John Vogel's Armageddon bio card, Shao Kahn gave Reiko the generalship because he liked the fighter's ruthlessness, which the legendary warrior is believed to value in his troops. Reiko had great aspirations of becoming the Emperor, which was made clear when he used to sneak into Shao Kahn's chambers to wear his outfit. He also mentions in the game that Outworld is once going to be ruled by him. In Shao Kahn's fortress, Taven runs upon Reiko in his war chamber while playing Mortal Kombat Armageddon's Conquest mode. Here it is revealed that Reiko has a strong dislike towards Quan Chi for unidentified reasons. Reiko tries to get Taven to enlist in Khan's army, after being impressed by his fighting prowess, but Taven isn't interested because his primary goal is to track down and assassinate Quan Chi. Reiko is intrigued by the idea, but he must fight the intruder because Shao Kahn has told him to defend the Emperor Emperor's supporters, which included the Sorcerer. Reiko is ultimately victorious, but as he hobbles away, he savors the irony that his failure will result in Quan Chi's demise. In the Battle of Armageddon, where he subsequently makes an appearance, he joins the forces of darkness. Reiko is hit by Shao Kahn's hammer twice, it being the last time he had made an appearance. He finally died in the Battle of Armageddon. In the current timeline, Reiko was a representative of Shao Kahn's Outworld in the tournament, which was hosted by Shao Kahn in the Outworld. He only fought Kenshi in the tournament, and the winner of it is still unknown. The only thing known about it is that neither of them was killed. In the Mortal Kombat comic series, it is said that many years ago, Reiko and his army had conquered a small primitive kingdom in the name of Shao Kahn, which originally belonged to the Krians. In an attempt to dominate the spirits of the Krians, Reiko desecrated their holy temple and also their cities. He observed that the statue of the goddess in the Krian holy temple did not crack a bit. Rather, she began singing a prophecy over and over to him. The prophecy said that Reiko's blood reigns. Reiko was subsequently adopted and praised by Shao Kahn as the most ruthless general that he had, implying that Reiko would be his heir. Reiko was led to believe that the prophecy would come true. In the past, Reiko, along with Goro and Shao Kahn, had conquered the Arnyek Islands that was the residence of the species known as the Kaitin. On several missions, Reiko would serve with the Osh-Tek warrior Kotal and learn about his people's need for the sun for energy, as well as their vulnerability when it is not present. Shao Kahn had allied with Quan Chi to conquer the Earth Realm, but Reiko observed how the sorcerer had manipulated Shao Kahn and later witnessed his death. He had overheard Quan Chi conspiring with the elder god Shinnok. The goddess and her bogus prophecy were scorned by Reiko. He escaped to Outworld after realizing Shinnok just wanted slaves, not generals, and vowed not to serve if he couldn't rule. He also briefly considered suicide. Reiko tried to end his own life using a dagger when Havoc approached him. Havoc had asked to lose everything to gain everything, as he was also aware of the prophecy. Havoc proclaimed himself to be the cleric of chaos when questioned about his identity, and said the prophecy about Reiko would come true, but for that, Reiko needed to flee first. Havoc followed by stabbing Reiko with his dagger. Reiko received his first experience of the blood magic power, which would enable his blood to rule and elevate him to the status of a deity. Then Reiko and Havoc started working together to carry out the prophecy. Reiko allied himself with Mileena and her rebel faction after Kotal Khan had taken away her throne. He used seduction and posed as her lover and closest counsel, all the while manipulating her. He also enlisted Scarlet, one of Shao Kahn's manufactured soldiers, in his and Havoc's cause, while keeping her participation from Mileena and Kotal Khan. Raiden saw Reiko embracing Mileena in his visions. Before being dismissed, Reiko makes his first outward appearance, bowing down before Mileena to let her know that the Red Dragon has approved of their plan. Reiko is then seen guarding a map while explaining his past tenure of working with Kotal Khan to Goro. Reiko claims to have learned about the Osh-Tek's ability to draw strength from light and be weakened by darkness. He then utilized this information to design his strategy for capturing and killing Kotal Khan and his father, Kotal Ketz. While revealing their location in the Golden Desert to Goro, he also explained his plan, that he would have rain block out the sun, who was Mileena's faithful servant who had control over the weather. This would cut off the Osh-Tek from the sun, weakening them direly as a result. Goro would deal with Ketz while the Red Dragon keeps any other warriors occupied. Reiko's strategy worked out, and Ketz met his end, all the while knowing that when Kotal Khan finds out about his father's death, he would summon blood magic, which would initially make him stronger, but ultimately severely drain his power. The Red Dragon forces are then inspired by Goro's speech, while Reiko and Mileena plot behind his back. Mileena thinks that if Goro kills Kotal Khan, she may reclaim the throne, but Reiko deceives her into thinking that Goro will contest her claim and seize the throne for himself. Goro, according to Reiko, was never someone he could trust and would deceive her much as he did with Kotal Khan. When Mileena asserts that he is the only one that she can trust, Reiko says that he will gladly serve her before she permits Goro to confront Kotal Khan, and that he would kill whichever of the two traitors survive. Reiko and Mileena leave the room after Goro dies at the hands of Kotal Khan. Reiko meets Havoc somewhere in the Outworld in an unknown location where they discuss the discovery of the actual source of Kotal Khan's power, which is blood magic. Reiko was frustrated because he had to locate all of the Kami Dogu daggers, which he thought could take up many years, while Havoc consoles him by saying that he already knows where all the daggers were. How long must Reiko sleep with Mileena before the kingdom is his, asks Reiko. As a reply, Havoc promised him that he would be more than just the ruler of Outworld and the blood god over all worlds once he possessed the daggers, and the would-be king laughed maliciously. Reiko and Havoc visit Shang Tsung's island when the cleric greeted the imprisoned Jackie Briggs and Cassie Cage. Reiko makes his next appearance in the Earth Realm on Jax Briggs' farm, while engaged in a duel with him. He also complimented Jax's strength. Observing his power, he proposed a deal with him. He had been given the task to protect the life of the Kami Dogu Raiden's daughter. Briggs refuses the deal, which started a battle between the two. Reiko was overpowered in the fight, throwing Jax out of his window. The former general pursues Jax and knocks down a wall to reach the fallen Jax and his wife Vera. While promising to spare Jackie's life, the former general tells Jax that he was only trying to make things harder for himself, and that the only thing that he wanted was the dagger that Raiden had given him. Jax didn't agree again, not trusting him. Reiko acknowledged that Jax couldn't trust him, then grabbed Vera by the neck as she sprinted towards Jax, her shoulder breaking the wall as she did so. Reiko told Jax to choose between the dagger and his family, while also making it clear that he would not be satisfied with harming merely Jax's daughter. Reiko also expressed concern that Jax would eventually lose patience, and that he would make everyone in his life suffer. Jax would then give Vera the dagger because Reiko honored his promise and saved her life. Reiko gave Havoc the Earthrealm's Kami Dogu after returning to Shang's island. Havoc, pleased, told Reiko that he would need only one more dagger before he made him the Blood God. Reiko, confused, said that he had only collected 2 of the required 6 daggers. So Havoc explained to him that Raiden had already collected half of the rest of the Kami Dogu for them. Reiko prepared for the arrival of Kotal Khan and Cassie's parents' arrival. He asked Scarlet for a share of her power, as they will have to divide and conquer. He asks Scarlet to cut his heart with the 2 Kami Dogu that he gives her. Reiko, overjoyed with his newfound power, vows to exact revenge on the island alongside Scarlet, and claims that the Crimson Flood would allow them to murder the Elder Gods, as well as rule the Outworld and Earthrealm. Reiko and Scarlet were waiting for Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, and Kotal Khan, along with some Red Dragon soldiers, on the beach. Reiko mocked Sonya and Johnny while greeting them, before noting that if he had a daughter and she had been kidnapped, he would have arrived days earlier. He expressed to them his curiosity about their coming, and his view that they would not make good parents. While ignoring Johnny Cage's crude reply, he was questioned by the Oshtek about what he would stand to gain by inciting more conflict with Earthrealm, and Reiko responded to Kotal Khan. Reiko revealed his ambitions for conquest and his goal to govern the Earthrealm and the Outworld as Shao Kahn had intended, but only under his rule instead. Reiko said he would let the girls leave if they wanted to, before revealing that Jackie and Cassie were corrupted by the Blood Code, and that they were ready to kill Sonya and Johnny in his name. When Reiko's forces attacked those of Kotal Khan's, he jokingly said that nothing made him more content than joining the families together. Reiko and Scarlet watched as the girls attacked Cassie's parents from a distance, while Kotal Khan and Devora fought their way to Reiko. Kotal Khan killed the Red Dragon soldiers that stood between them with relative ease. After complimenting the performance, Reiko mockingly remarked that Shao Kahn would be pleased to see him smash the Oshtek and that his father would be upset if he saw him fail. Devora attacked Scarlet while Kotal Khan attacked Reiko. Reiko revealed that he always envied the Khan's power when Kotal reminded him of it, before assuring Kotal that he had just begun to explore the potential of their blood magic. Kotal Khan jumped into the air and tried to slash Reiko with his sword, but Reiko easily took control of the sword, while telling him that if Kotal truly desired godliness, he would have gotten it by now. While saying this, Reiko shattered Kotal's sword and knocked him down with a single uppercut. While Kotal Khan was pinned down by Reiko's foot, Devora attacked Reiko from the air. Reiko simply observed this and admired his champion's loyalty. Devora was quickly caught by Reiko, who tore her in half while observing how willing she was to die for her emperor. Reiko offered Kotal a chance to surrender while turning his back on him. He proclaimed that Kotal had nothing left to lose, and that Reiko was willing to spare his life and let him live as his slave. Kotal refused Reiko's offer, and started drawing power from the sun so that he can continue their battle while astonishing Reiko. The battle continued until they halted it when Kotal's second ship arrived. Reiko, upon seeing this, proclaimed and rejoiced that this was party time for him, while watching Melina storm the beach along with her Tarkata, ready to kill both Reiko and Kotal. While battling Kotal Khan, Reiko noticed Melina mutilate Scarlet along with the aid of Ermac. After Kotal remarks about the spurned women of Earthrealm, Reiko savagely strikes Kotal and claimed to be the blood god that Kotal Khan could never be. Melina then strikes Reiko with the Wrath Hammer, which demolished half of his face and left him momentarily dead. Ermac then stated that the blood code would bring him back to life. As said earlier by Ermac, Reiko is restored to life by his blood code. The half of his face which was destroyed also slowly regenerated. He strikes out with blood magic blasts after after becoming infuriated by Mileena and Kotal Khan's casual conversation about killing him once more, and easily escapes Ermac's telekinetic grip. All this while he was ranting about how he was the novitiate for the blood god, and that he was the vessel through which his blood would rule over the realms. Reiko then destroys one of Shao Kahn's most potent creatures by grabbing Ermac by the ankle and tossing him onto Kotal Khan and Mileena with blinding speed. While drawing out his Outworld's Kami Dogu, Reiko made a mockery of Kotal Khan for losing it. He stated how Kotal could never fully exploit its powers, and then Reiko cuts Kotal with his own weapon and also Mileena with it. He offered to make both of them his slaves, but decided against it since he wanted them to see him reborn as the blood god before telling them how he discovered the prophecy that foretold his ascension. He declared that at last the prophecy was being fulfilled when he was attacked by Ermac, Mileena, and Kotal Khan all at once. Their collective telekinetic construct tore his head off, and Mileena slashed him with her sai while Kotal Khan cut his legs off. Reiko was saved from permanent death by Havoc's arrival on the scene, and a Raiden who was corrupted by the blood code. The general is seated on the throne of Shang Tsung's island as Havoc reveals that all of the collected Kami Dogu will be used in the flesh pits to revive Reiko's body. Along with this, the blood of Kotal Khan, Ermac, Johnny Cage, and Sonya Blade, who were all captured, would be used as a sacrifice. Reiko is given the glass of the champion's blood by Havoc, who asks him to drink from it and complete his destiny. Reiko pours the blood into the cup and says, "To godliness," signaling that he is prepared. The Chaos Cleric then stabs Reiko with each of the Kami Dogu, when Havoc vows that Reiko's blood reigns and is joined by the blood code possessed Raiden, Jackie Briggs, and Cassie Cage. Thunder rumbles as Reiko rises into the air in a storm of blood magic. Then he falls back to the throne and goes still for a moment. Reiko revives and catches Havoc by the neck while reveling in his newly found godhood. Reiko says that he had died enough for the day and looks to the imprisoned champions whose blood sacrifice he demands in his name. Reiko exclaims that he feels older instead of younger after getting his godhood, and that he feels like his god self was trapped inside him all the while. He uses his new power to create armor around him. Reiko boasted that he yearned for offerings for the blood god, and that his hands were aflame with blood magic. Reiko moved over to Mileena and Kotal Khan while licking his lips in anticipation and calling them imperial traitors who failed to realize his godhood. He considers whether to launch a preemptive assault on warriors who could contest his claim to Earthrealm while moving on to Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade. Havoc persuades him not to devour any of them. The Red Dragon brings the imprisoned troops of Mileena and Kotal Khan into the scene by Havoc's orders. Reiko asks how many of them are there, to which Havoc replies 100. This pleases Reiko. Reiko is attacked by a Tarkata who spits on him and calls him a traitor. Reiko kills the Tarkata and demands that Havoc free the remaining prisoners, saying their magnificent sacrifice would make the Elder Gods envious. Reiko devours all of the 100 captured soldiers in a single blow, while celebrating the amount of blood spilt and carnage brought upon them and demanding even more from Havoc. Reiko declares he is still hungry and abruptly strikes Havoc, telling him to stop talking when the cleric informs him that there are none left. Reiko begs to know what the cleric has done to him after realizing something was very wrong, claiming he knew there would be power, but not such severe suffering. Reiko pushes Havoc away, laments that hunger is tearing at him from the inside, and muses on what might anguish a deity. While screaming in pain, Reiko tears open his chest and rips his own body apart, losing control over it while begging for help. The so-called god's face starts to melt, and he is left with no choice but to scream in agony. Havoc goes on to mercilessly disclose that Reiko was only meant to serve as a receptacle for a true deity, and was never a contender for godhood. The amulet of Shinnok is then torn from Reiko's skull by Havoc after he uses his thumbs to gouge out his eyes and crush his head. All this while Reiko was simply a pawn to the Cleric of Chaos, who revealed that Reiko's dream of being a god was nothing but a delusion. The question mark emblem seen in the initial edition of Mortal Kombat 4 was replaced with Reiko in the first iteration of the second major upgrade. The later releases of Reiko expanded the finale from the MK4 arcade and Nintendo 64 versions. He is the only character to experience this change. In Mortal Kombat Deception, he is one of the characters you encounter in the caged-up dark prison stage and is unplayable. He can be discovered in Edenia and Outworld in Conquest mode. In Mortal Kombat 2011, he can be seen battling in the backdrop of the Pit 2 level against Dagon, Kenshi, Frost, or Serena. In the following battle against Kenshi, Shang Tsung addresses Reiko by name after Sub-Zero is pulled away. Reiko in Mortal Kombat Legends, Battle of the Realms. Shao Kahn joins Kitana, Kintaro, Reiko, Baraka, and Jade in sending Outworld's forces against Earthrealm after the Mortal Kombat competition. The Earthrealm Resistance, which is made up of Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Kung Lao, Curtis Stryker, Jax Briggs, Liu Kang, and Raiden, is successful in thwarting the attack of the Outworld. When Shao Kahn shows up, he begs Raiden to accompany him to the Elder Gods, so they may request a new tournament to put a stop to the vicious cycle. Raiden accepts this. The challengers of Shao Kahn, made up of Li Mei, Kintaro, Devora, Baraka, Reiko, and Jade, are met by the forces of Earthrealm in the Outworld. Devora beats Johnny Cage, Liu Kang beats Jade, Stryker beats Baraka, Li Mei loses to Sonya, and Jax kills Kintaro. Then Raiden knocks Reiko out of the tournament, Sonya defeats Devora, Shao Kahn wins against Jax, Shang Tsung kills Stryker, and Shao Kahn also kills Kung Lao. After Reiko gets hit badly in the face by Raiden with a punch in their duel, Reiko kicks Raiden's chest, which cracks and starts bleeding. After this, Reiko keeps landing punches and kicks on Raiden, until Raiden pushes him and makes him fall to the floor. Then they continue their battle on the floor. Reiko keeps punching Raiden in the face, which makes him bleed. To this, Raiden gets pissed off and knocks Reiko to the floor. Then he picks up his hat and leaves the fighting arena. Raiden then dies at the hands of Shao Kahn in the tournament. Final battle is between Shao Kahn and Liu Kang. Liu Kang wins the duel between them, and the Elder Gods summon the Chosen One by Raiden to fight Shinnok when the realms begin to merge as a result of his merger with the power of the One Being. Liu Kang protects the Earthrealmers with the help of the power of the gods and turns into a giant dragon to battle with Shinnok. Shinnok looks to be winning initially, but is stopped from killing Liu Kang with the interference of Scorpion and Sub-Zero. As Liu Kang vanquishes the fallen god of existence after defeating Shinnok, he splits the worlds apart and returns to the Colosseum with the warrior. Liu Kang promises Jax that if someone, for example Shao Kahn, tries to take Earthrealm by force, he will be there to stop any invasions. Raiden is then revived and gets his godhood back and leaves while lightning shows in the skies.
I am Reiko, general to Shao Kahn's army. The Emperor could use warriors such
What makes Reiko so deadly? Reiko is an extremely powerful fighter who is skilled in Shoryuken. He was depicted as a fighter who favors dodges and teleportation when he made his first appearance in MK4 and Mortal Kombat Gold. He learned a modified shoulder charge from Shao Kahn and proved he has the strength to control the crude hammer without any difficulty. In the current timeline, Reiko's brilliant tactical mind is revealed. He showed how he can strategize to entice opponents to their deaths or reveal vulnerabilities he may take advantage of. When Reiko's strength was enhanced by blood magic from 2 Dogu, he was able to rip Devora's body in half with ease and shatter Kotal Khan's sword with his bare hands. Reiko was also shown to be strong enough to defeat Jax Briggs in a one-on-one battle. Mileena, Kotal Khan, and Ermac, one of Shao Kahn's most formidable creatures, were all defeated by Reiko before he was killed a second time. Despite being knocked out for a moment by Mileena, this happened. Reiko launches a barrage of shurikens at the foe using assassin throwing stars. He tosses them one by one in Armageddon. Reiko quickly topspins the opponent with a quick spin behind and then swiftly slides around them to their back. It is often referred to as 3D teleport since it is a shining example of MK4's quasi 3D. Reiko uses vertical teleport to leap higher, vanish in the air, and then return behind the adversary as they emerge from the ground. This assault was lifted directly from Noob Saibot. When the opponent comes up, Reiko can choose not to use the slam and instead strike him regularly. However, Noob cannot. Reiko performs an amazing body twist with flip kick, barely raising one foot off the ground while performing a backflip kick with the other. Li Mei later acquired this talent, which she called Carnival Spin, and employed it in the game's Deadly Alliance and Deception. The maneuver was called the Devastating Flip Kick in Armageddon. Reiko imitates Shao Kahn's shoulder ram with Charging Pain, but his head is covered by a bluish energy image of Shao Kahn's helmet. Thrust Kick, in which Reiko delivers a tremendous kick to the opponent's torso, sending them flying off while their limbs and heads spin in the air, is one of his fatalities. Soon after, the legs fall to the ground one at a time, and the head and arms follow. With the other fatality he has, Reiko unleashes a lethal storm of shurikens with Shuriken Barrage, covering the target's whole body before firing the final one directly at their skull. The foe then falls to the ground and passes away, drowning in their blood. Marvelous appearances of Reiko in other media. Reiko's early video game biography as a devoted general of Shao Kahn is somewhat referenced by Reiko's lone live appearance in Mortal Kombat Conquest. Reiko acts as a military messenger of Shao Kahn and is never seen in combat. He informs Shao Kahn about those events that Shao Kahn cannot personally observe while sitting on the throne. Reiko witnessed the invading armies of Korea on the outworld borders, so he engaged in their destruction while fighting off the Amazonian forces of Korea. Reiko was one of the fighters who always maintained their fidelity and loyalty to Shao Kahn, swearing allegiance to the Emperor's sword and promising to kill anybody who dared to betray the Outworld Emperor. Marvelous verdict. Reiko belongs to that category of characters who, despite lacking a whole lot of their personality, makes up for it by swearing allegiance to a master and playing for a team. His loyalty is unshakable, and so is his ambition to become a god, which, although ultimately becomes counterproductive as the entire time Havoc was manipulating him, as shown in the prequel comic book series Mortal Kombat X. His capacity to do anything for his ambitions is also shown there. He is one for following orders, and he does so very well. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. This has been Corey Whelan from Marvelous Videos. Have a good one, be safe out there, and thanks for watching.
I have been charged to protect the Emperor's allies. I am Reiko, General to Shao Kahn's army.